Morning, brethren. This morning we continue our series of studies in our love for God and some reasons as to why we love God. Yesterday we were looking at 1 John chapter 4, where John says we love him because he first loved us. Today I want to take you to the book of Psalms, and in Psalm 116 and verse 1, the psalmist says the following: I love the Lord because he has heard my voice and my pleas for mercy. I love the Lord because he has heard my voice and my pleas for mercy. The psalmist David had found himself in circumstances where his life was in very real danger. He goes on in that psalm to talk about being surrounded by death. The snares of death compassed me, the pangs of Sheol laid hold of me. I was in distress and anguish. And it was in those circumstances that the psalmist turned to God in prayer. And he brought to God all the concerns that were upon his heart. He brought to God the circumstances that he found himself in. And he cried out to God for help. And what happened? God heard his prayer. And it's evident that God, in some wonderful way, intervened. And in answering his prayer, he preserved the psalmist, kept him safe, and took away the danger to which he had been exposed. But the general point is clear. The psalmist felt his great need of God. And when he called out to God, God heard him and God answered him. And the psalmist in response loves God and he affirms his love for God. I love the Lord because he has heard my cries for mercy. It's a wonderful thing to know God. It's a wonderful thing to reverence God. But it's a much more wonderful thing to love God. And one of the reasons why you and I ought to nurture within our hearts a love for our God is because our God is a God who hears us when we cry to him. When we come with the burdens that are upon our hearts, with the concerns that are upon our minds, with circumstances that we are struggling to come to terms with, and we pour out our hearts to God, God will hear us and God will answer us and God will give us the grace we need for those circumstances. Like the psalmist, he may lift us out of the pit. He may take away the hardships that we're facing. But whatever way God chooses to do so, he will answer us. And he will answer us in a way that is best suited to our needs. And because we have one who hears us when we call out to him in prayer, it is our joy to be able to say, I love the Lord. I wonder, are you able to say that this morning? I trust you are. May God bless these thoughts to our hearts. Amen.